Okay, so let's dive right into this. We have all been there, right? You have a friend who's, super active online, and then one day, they just go completely silent. Today, we're going to get into the psychology behind why people disappear from social media, and you might be surprised to find out it's often a much healthier sign than you'd think. You know the deal. Their stories are the first thing you tap through in the morning, they're always the first to hit your post with a fire emoji, and that little green dot next to their name, it's always on. They're just there, a constant, totally predictable part of your online world. And then, poof, nothing. No new posts, no likes, no comments, nothing. Their digital presence just evaporates. And that sudden quiet, man, it can feel really, really loud. So of course, your first thought is probably, did I do something? Is there some secret drama I don't know about? But what if, and this is the big idea we're going to explore, what if it's not about rejection at all? What if it's actually about relief?
So let's start by getting on the same page. When we say someone disappears, what are we actually talking about? Because it's not just one thing, it's a whole spectrum of different behaviors, and each one has its own unique psychological flavor.
Okay, so check out this breakdown. It shows how these different actions have totally different impacts. On the lighter end of the scale, you've got just stopping your posts. As you can see, that can relieve that constant pressure to, perform for an audience. Go a little further and stop engaging, so no more likes or comments, and you start to pull yourself out of that endless social comparison trap. And as you go down the list to things like actually removing the apps or deleting your account entirely, you're not just taking a breather, you are fundamentally resetting your social boundaries.
So you can kind of see the different flavors of this, right? Some people just quiet quit. They just kind of fade into the background without a big announcement. Others are more tactical. They delete the app itself, getting that little icon off their home screen. And then some people just make a clean break, deactivating or deleting their entire profile to draw a really firm line in the sand.
Now for the million-dollar question. Why? Why is it so hard to leave in the first place? To get that, we have to understand what keeps us glued to our screens, and it all boils down to some pretty powerful stuff happening in our brains.
This is basically the engine that drives the whole habit. It kicks off with a cue. Could be a notification or just feeling a little bored or stressed. That little cue triggers a craving for, say, connection or just a distraction. Your automatic response? You open the app. And the reward for doing that? You get a like, a comment, a funny video, that little hit of dopamine. This loop just runs and runs on autopilot.
And here's what makes that reward system so incredibly powerful. It is completely unpredictable. You never know if your next scroll is going to give you a huge rush of likes, a message from an old friend, or absolutely nothing. That randomness, what psychologists call a variable reward, is the exact same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. It's what makes the habit so sticky. But here's the catch. Over time, that thrill starts to fade. What once felt amazing, like getting 50 likes on a photo, starts to feel normal. This is a real thing. It's called hedonic adaptation. The same old reward just doesn't give you the same boost, which leaves you with two choices. Either you start chasing a bigger and bigger reaction, or you start to realize the reward just isn't worth the effort anymore. And that realization, that's often what sparks this huge internal shift. It's when people stop living for an audience and start living for their own agenda. Just look at this comparison. Over on the left, you've got external validation. That's the applause from other people. It feels great for a second, but it fades super fast. And then on the right, you have intrinsic motivation. That's doing things just because they genuinely matter to you. And that is what builds real, lasting satisfaction. Disappearing from social media is often a sign that someone is making the journey from that left column over to the right.
And you can actually feel this shift happening in your own behavior. You just don't feel that constant urge to post about every single thing you do. You start to feel more pride in the progress that nobody else even sees. A big win feels calmer, more solid, because it's for you, not for some big performance.
This is such a powerful way to think about it. When someone goes quiet, they might be in the middle of navigating something huge: grief, a new job, a major life change. They're not avoiding the world. They're creating a quiet, safe space to grow, without the constant pressure of an audience watching. They're incubating.
So, what if all this is starting to resonate with you? Maybe you're thinking about stepping back yourself. How can you do it in a way that's actually constructive and healthy, and not just isolating? Let's get into the practical side of things.
Okay, this is really, really important to understand.
A healthy break usually brings a lot of positive changes, like you feel calmer, you're sleeping better, you can focus again. But you have to watch out for the red flags. If you notice things like total social withdrawal or your mental health actually getting worse, that's a sign that just logging off isn't the answer. It's probably time to reach out for some real-world support.
So if you do want to try it, here's a super simple, really effective plan. First, get rid of the triggers. Turn off all those notifications or maybe even delete the app for a little while. Second, pick a clear, doable boundary. Something like no phone after 9 p.m. Third, clean up your feed. Think of it like mental hygiene. Just mute or unfollow any accounts that stress you out. Step 4 is key. You have to replace the scrolling habit with something else you actually enjoy. And finally, number 5, keep your real relationships warm. Just let your close friends know the best way to get in touch with you directly.
Because look, at the end of the day, this is not about becoming a hermit. It's about being intentional. It's about designing your digital life so that it supports your real life. And it's about protecting your energy for the connections that truly, genuinely matter.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about for yourself. When you honestly weigh it all out, what does social media give you and what does it cost you? The answer might just surprise you.